With that down and out of the way, let's move on to our fifth and final main topic today. And our fifth and final main topic today gets submitted to us by Happy Hitchhiker, who writes, "Hi, John. Love the show. Thank you so much. It's been assumed lately that with Thor 4 coming, Thor wouldn't actually appear in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. The way Endgame left off, I think a lot of us were hoping to see more of the Asgardians of the galaxy together, but Chris Pratt just said that Thor may still be in the movie. What does that mean? Do you think Thor will be in Guardians 3? All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yes, at the end of Avengers Endgame, it looked like they were setting up that the next Guardians of the Galaxy 3 would essentially be kind of a de facto Asgardians of the Galaxy, that Thor would be with them. He actually went off on their adventure with them, and so a lot of us just assumed Thor's going to be in there. But then all the reports that started coming out after that, especially after Comic-Con, was that actually no, Thor is not going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and that kind of just became assumed. Chris Pratt was just also at the Onward premiere the other night, and he was being interviewed, and, you know, the interviewer talking to him was kind of lamenting that they're not going to see Thor in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, to which Chris Pratt said the following. He said this, "How do you know that Thor's not in Guardians 3? We haven't shot it yet. He might be in Guardians 3. We don't know yet. There's no definitive yes or no on that," says Chris Pratt. So Pratt is saying, unless he's just being coy and trying to, you know, string people along, which he very well may be, he's kind of saying that it doesn't even sound like he knows for sure. Like, the fact of the matter is, James Gunn wrote his script for this movie years ago. Before all the, you know, his tweets came up, Disney fired him, then they brought him back, now he's working on Suicide. Before all that, he wrote the script. A lot of changes can happen in a script, you know, in that type of a time frame. A lot of things can happen. And so something could be happening here with something like that. It would totally make sense in many ways. So it could very well be that Chris Pratt himself doesn't know if for sure if they're going to have Thor in there or not. If I had to guess, my guess is Thor will not be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Now, I can already hear everybody yelling and screaming at the computer, "But John, didn't you see the end scene in Avengers Endgame?" Yeah, I saw it. I know they went, but that doesn't mean anything. We've seen lots of Marvel movies end on some sort of epic note, and then that was never picked up again later. They could say, yeah, he went off with them for a few weeks, and then he had to go split and do his own thing. I actually don't think, especially with Thor: Love and Thunder coming, I do not think that they're going to do it. I don't think he's going to be in there. I think the possibility still exists, like Chris Pratt is saying, but right now I don't think that's actually something on their radar. Chris, you saw the end of Endgame. You've heard all the reports. Now you're hearing what Chris Pratt is saying. What do you think about what Chris Pratt is saying, and do you think Thor might actually show up in Guardians of the Galaxy 3?
He very well could. And like he said, they haven't filmed it yet, guys. Anything's possible. And of course, Pratt's going to be all cheeky and coy with us. You know, he's not going to flat out say, "No, we're not using Hemsworth. Why would we put that man in here? You guys don't want to see him, right?" No, like, he's not going to do that. And also, I think everyone needs to remember is that the Asgardians of the Galaxy thing, that still can come into play even if we don't have an Asgardians of the Galaxy movie. You know, we've already gotten Valkyrie in the films. We've got the Destroyer in the first Thor movie shows up. You know, there are elements that you can pepper in there. We could get Angela at some point. So some of these elements could come in, and Thor very well could come in and work with them too. I think at the very least, we're going to get a cameo or some cute little, you know, after credits button with him.
Aaron, you're hearing all this. Which way do you think they're going to go with Thor? Is he going to pop up in this movie or not?
Well, clearly, Chris Pratt and Roland Emmerich have been studying from the same book of how to be cheeky in an interview. I mean, I want to see fat Thor and fat Chris Pratt. Bring back the dad bods. I just want to see both of them balancing a beer on their bellies and just telling fart jokes. That's really all I want. I don't really care about the rest of the stuff that's going on in Guardians of the Galaxy or Avengers. I just wanted to see two fat dad bods just chilling. Because let's face it, Fat Thor was he did such a great job and was so funny. I think that always bringing back Thor is going to be a great idea, because he's not only obviously great at what he does as far as just being an awesome badass superhero, but he's also very entertaining, and he's fun, and he's lovable. He brings a levity to any situation that I think is always welcome. And yes, Chris Pratt is obviously being very cheeky. They don't know what's going on in the film yet, so it remains to be seen.
Yeah, I don't know that now that Chris Pratt's father-in-law is Arnold Schwarzenegger that we're going to see Fat Pratt anytime soon. Although I would give some money to see Andy Dwyer, Parks and Rec, Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
I would totally pay some money to see that.
I miss him.
Oh, I miss him too.
So in love with Andy.
Still watching
Tom and
that
I
all the
watch
time.
outtakes. The outtakes of him are the best.
Oh yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay, I'm sorry. Did you ever see the blooper reel from Parks and Rec, where all the cast they were in like some sort of town hall meeting, but it was like the whole cast, and it was a scene in the movie, and they were kind of riffing a little bit, and she goes. So you got the two main characters where you had Anne and Leslie Knope up at the front, and they're going, okay, we need a good comeback story.
Oh, don't tell this. Don't.
Yes.
No.
Okay, I got it, because this is
We've all seen it.
If you have not seen this, you have to look this up, because they're just kind of riffing. So they're trying to do the scene, and you have Amy Poehler up there at the front going, okay, we need a good comeback story. What's a good comeback story? And somebody said, what was the horse? Seabiscuit. And somebody said something else. And then he said, who did he say?
Kim Kardashian.
He said Kim Kardashian. And Leslie Knope is like, Amy Poehler trying to play off. She's, comeback story? Yeah, in that video, she had cum on her back. And the whole cast just lost it. The entire cast just lost it. Even the one guy even started falling out of his chair. They were all
Jim
laughing.
lost it.
Oh
Guy who
my
plays
God,
Jerry.
it was so
Couldn't keep
funny.
it together.
It was so funny.
I think his best one is Leslie, I looked up your symptoms. It says you have connectivity issues. I remember the creator of the show was like, I hate Chris Pratt. That's the best joke in the entire series. And I didn't write it.
He ended up getting himself, like, he came right up to the line. There was a scene where Leslie Knope opens the door and he was standing there completely naked. Like,
what? And did she know that was going to happen? Did Amy Poehler?
No.
Oh
And they
my
had to tell him, like, hey,
There's a line.
There's a line and you just crossed it. And this was like right before, this was right before the shit hit the fan in Hollywood. Like, if that had happened a year later, he would have been fired, blackballed.
Well, he probably wouldn't have done it a year later.
Yeah.
I mean, that
one would hope.
Yes.
One would hope. But, now it's kind of frowned on, like, hey, if no one's asking to see your dick, you probably shouldn't be pulling your dick out.
Yeah, not post.
We had one of those on Spartacus. We had a guy that like just
but you had a lot of exposed dicks on
This
Spartacus
was
as
literally
it was.
like, I remember one of the actresses was like, literally the camera's not even on him. It's not. He could be wearing a sweatsuit and he's got his ugly little dick just hanging out there for me to look at on my close up. And I was like, you might want to tell him to put his pants on. It was kind of like a running joke. Like, yeah, he would like go to the writers and be like, do you need me to be naked for this? No, you don't.
Nope.
I'll be naked. I'll pants down. Oh, you don't need to be naked for nobody. This is not a naked scene. I'm naked anyway. Look at my dick.
All right, guys. Question is, what do you think about Chris Pratt's comments here? Do you think Thor will show up? I know a lot of us thought he would automatically at the end of Endgame, but then all the reports said he wouldn't. Now maybe he is. Do you think he will? Do you think he should? Jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys.